Welcome to Empower You Crown Up, where we believe in empowering minds to live empowered lives. And today we have a very special guest. And without further ado, we are going to bring that guest to the stage. Hello, how are you?
Hey, what's happening, Brittany? How are you?
Good. And I want to make sure I'm saying right. Is Cutie? Is that right?
I'll take it.
Cuddy?
No, Cootie is good. Cootie is good.
Cuddy?
Cootie is it, but cutie, it's
Cutie.
not
Cutie.
often that I just get that. So I'll take it when it comes. I'm getting better
Okay,
at
got
like
you. Got you.
taking compliments and such. That's one of my resolutions.
I love that. I love that. And that's funny because I'm always like with my name, I'm like, it's Brittany. And people are like, huh? And I'm like, it's Brittany because the way that it's spelled, E-N-Y. And they're like, oh, okay. And then some people be like, girl, your name is Brittany. And I'm like, no, it's different.
Right.
So
And
it's
I
good
mean,
to
with
be
me,
unique.
it's like cootie is like four letters, two syllables, and it gives people fits. So go figure.
Well, I used to be in education and I taught for like what 5 years, math. And you see so many names, and I never
Yes.
forget I had one, and she would get mad at me because she would say it's pronounced it lolly, but the way that it was written and spelled, my brain was just not connecting that it was zit lolly, and she was like, "It's zit lolly," and I'm like, "Okay, excuse me." So I was like, "Let me make sure I get it right."
Right. Right. But I think for both of us, the hard T is the key.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. Most definitely. Well, we're glad to have you as a guest here on Empower Your Crown Up. Tell us about you and your business and what it is that you do every day to empower the world.
So I am a speaker. I'm a paid speaker. I'm also a fitness and nutrition consultant. And previous to all of that, as you can kind of tell from some of the few trophies in the back, I was in the music business. And so the combination of my music business experience as well as my knowledge base when it comes to fitness allows me to help people in various ways. But whether it's coaching them, whether it's life coaching them, whether it's career coaching them, because with the music business came a lot of high visibility, high pressure, high stakes, big money deals and
Mhm.
transactions. And with fitness and nutrition came holistic nutrition, holistic healing, holistic recovery. So just taking those two and combining them have given me an interesting platform to be able to deliver to people. So whether I'm talking to corporate teams about how to maximize their productivity, be more productive than they've ever been while minimizing or eliminating stress naturally, or if it's talking to students about how to make decisions as to career moves, or even people who are starting their career, when to know when to pivot, how to do these things in a healthy way, how to take care of yourself while you're doing all these things. And nobody has time anymore. And I remember as a record label executive, just, you know, music doesn't stop. Radio stations don't stop. Video channels don't stop. Tours are always when we're not gigging, we're getting ready to gig. We're traveling, so figuring
Right.
out how to take care of oneself while being tremendously busy and up against the clock. These are all things that I've got lifetime experience with, and now I help as many people as I can through platforms like this, or if someone books me to speak, or even in a classroom, I get a chance to just help people along in that regard.
I love that so much because you're right. It was like, and you reminded me of like when COVID, we were like, okay, it made us slow down. But then did we really? Because, for me personally, I found myself multitasking. You're with the kids, you're on this work meeting, then you're doing this business meeting, and you got two or three Zooms going at one time. You're like, okay, let me unmute. Yes, I'm here, I'm ready. It was a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, and working from home, seems really cool. I was one of those people
Mm.
that did like working in offices or as a trainer going to the gym. Although I will say I was able to scale because of the many facets, I guess, that make up the components of who I am, the sum of who I am. I was able to scale not only training virtually like I do now, because I never went back to going back to buildings once things open back up, because my main thing was coming from a safety standpoint. If I'm here to help people be healthy, me bouncing in between different scenarios and potentially carrying the virus from here to there, even if I'm not affected, I could affect the people that I'm working
That's
with.
right.
And if I'm derelict in my duty if I'm getting people sick. So I was like, okay, whatever keeps people from doing that. But then it allowed me to scale, because now I could train people anywhere around the world. I've trained people as far from, I'm in DC. I've trained people as far as, Seattle and LA, all the way over to Dubai. And anywhere in between,
Yes.
as long as the schedules match. And then I was able to do speaking events, virtually or in person.
Right.
So it kind of widened the palette for what I can do. But you're correct. If you're not turning off work, if you're not shutting work off, and work is just a continuous flow with home, it can get dicey at times. And a lot of people are happier about the fact that they can work either flex, like sometimes in the office, sometimes not, because they
Yes.
figured out how to do it during COVID. But then at the flip side, almost everybody, like literally 9 out of 10 people right now, post pandemic, have experienced or are experiencing job burnout. And so,
Mhm.
because when the boss
Working
knows
too
that you can work,
hard and
yeah,
working too
when the boss knows
much.
you can work anytime, they're gonna hit you. And if you're tempted to check your email, so all of a sudden, though you have the convenience of not having to go into an office, uh, some people are working more than ever. They're not managing their time properly, and these are all protocols
Mhm.
that I talk about and help people along with.
That is good because you're right. Especially when you think about work emails and it's right there on your phone, but everything else is at the access of your phone. And
Mhm.
so you really have to be like, okay, no, this is a shut off for me. And so I go into the schools and I do school counseling. And that reminds me of a conversation I had with another counselor. And she was talking about how, like, once 4 o'clock comes, she's running out the door. And, people are like, hey, this, let me tell you this. And she's like, no, I don't have time for it, because she told me she learned her lesson. She said,
Mhm.
she used to pour in hours and hours, stay late, do all these things. But when she needed her time the most after having her baby, they were like, no, we're going to take this out of your check. You only have this amount of weeks. And so this is the time we're going to take out of your check. And so she was like, you know what? Never again will I be giving more and more when I can't even receive anything. And I've given
Right.
that time abundantly.
Yeah, and it's never enough. It's never enough. So at some
Yes.
point, you've got to learn how to draw the boundaries. And in an era now where everything is just at our fingertips, like we just said a couple minutes ago. Uh,
Right.
the idea of enough, the idea of less is more, it's foreign. It's counterculture. But when I think about, when I was younger, one of the things that made life seem simpler was that there were less options. So helping people
Right.
highlight for themselves, okay, not even necessarily reduce the options, because the toothpaste is already out of the tube in that regard, but in terms of how to prioritize those options, that's the key.
Right.
That's the thing that'll start to make things, more bite-sized. Like, I've heard the saying, the easiest way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. It's the same
Right.
kind of thing. Like you just see all this stuff, and it's easy to get paralyzed and just cop out and just start scrolling through social media or something mindlessly for an hour, when it's like, no, let's focus on what that one thing is, get it done. And I have a thing called the bedtime blueprint that I give to certain people and certain clients and certain audiences, which kind of helps people with how to close one day, set the pace for the next day, and get excellent rest in
Stuff
between. So,
done. And that's the key, getting rest, taking those breaks, because that's one thing from the mental health side, working with clients, is we've been conditioned to just work, work, work till we get it done. But then you're burnt out, or you don't even have the mental capacity to get anything else done. And we've been doing studies on that to show that a lot of that goes back to our childhood of, having how you were raised. Our parents like, you better get it done, you better get it done right now. And you carry that into your adulthood and you're like, okay, I got to get this done, but then I'm burning myself out. I'm losing energy. Whereas studies actually show if you take a break, then you will have more energy and you will get more things done.
Well, that's a classic example to your point, a classic example of the synergy between, say, fitness and productivity. So
Right.
if you were in the gym working out, if you've ever worked out before, you'll do some sets and all of a sudden you're starting to run out of energy and you're trying to push and you get
Yes.
tired and you stop. You stop for like 2 minutes and when you come back, the very things you couldn't do 2 minutes ago, now all of a sudden you can do again. It's the same thing
Right.
with our brains. So, burning the midnight oil is not nearly as efficient as just saying, you know what, just go to sleep on it, wake up in the morning and finish it.
That's true. Now you reminded me I was in the military and we
Mm.
used to have to, I was in the army and when it comes to running, they be like, keep going, keep going. And in my mind, I would just always feel like I need to take a break, then I can run more. But for some reason, every time I would stop, I realized it was harder to keep going. And so then I had to build up that momentum to say, okay, let me just don't stop, keep going. But it was about pacing myself. That's what I had to learn. It's all about the speed and pace.
True. And I mean, you cannot stop, but just not go as hard.
Right.
Intensity is always going to be bettered by consistency anyway, in any
Mm.
kind of effort.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. So when you balance the music and all of that and fitness and speaking, what is it that you enjoy most about everything that you do?
Helping people. Uh, if I was to write, produce, or deliver a record or a song that makes everybody dance every time, there's certain songs that are out there that people know that when they play, they're still playing to this day. And I'm like, yeah, I was a
Yes.
part of that. Or when I give somebody some advice as far as their fitness and wellness, they take the advice, it manifests in them and them achieving their wellness goals. And then it resonates to the point where people around them start noticing, like, man, what are you doing differently? And then
That's
that
right.
person tells that person, and then that person. I just had a testimony the other day where a guy was telling me that he had advised somebody to do one of my staple nutritional consultation points about juicing vegetables. He had been doing it. He did it for a year straight, saw all these benefits from it. And then a friend of his was falling into, basically was about to become diabetic. Like his A1C levels were
Wow.
skyrocketing. They tested his blood sugars were in the hundreds. And then he started juicing. And
Juicing.
then within literally like days and weeks, his numbers just dropped, normalized. And then, just he was fine. But it was because, and he went back to my client, like, man, you saved my life, basically. And the
Wow.
client was just like, nah, I didn't. My consultant did, because he's the one who told me, and I just told you what he told me. And
That's
so that
right.
stuff, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying it. That kind of stuff, I live for that, because at some point I actually figured out for sure, and I was just kind of doing a self-assessment, which I always do, pretty frequently. I realized, okay, what's my purpose? And my purpose is to help people.
That's
So as long as
right.
I'm walking in my purpose, everything else takes care of itself. And when I'm
Right.
taking care of somebody and then they're taking care of somebody because of me taking care of them, that's what it's about. So if I'm in a lecture hall talking to people in college who are aspiring record label executives, and I'm teaching them how to be that and do that, and I can help one or two of them actually get a gig, and then they start thriving in the business, and the business is better because they're in it. That's the stuff I get off on.
Yes, being able to really help people and being selfless is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I
Not being
mean,
selfish.
yeah, and what I found is when I chase money, because I mean everybody wants to get paid, and I do get
Right.
paid to do this, so I don't want to make, this isn't charity or a hobby, but when I chase just strictly the money, I would get it, but I'd lose it too. When I chased the
Right.
help, it always came back around, and I was always taken care of.
That's right. That's right. And that's important for someone who's listening. They're like, you know what? I really don't know what my purpose is. And that can help them define what it is. What is
Yeah,
it outside of money? Because
yeah.
if it's just like, it's no different from going to a job. And if you're going to just get paid, that's when you feel that there's no fulfillment. But when you say, you know what, let me figure out what is my passion, or let me try this, or let me try that, and a light bulb just goes off and you know it when you have discovered your passion. You know it because it's like you can't sleep. It's almost like if you ever watched the movie Norbit.
Hmm.
And how he's like, he has that meeting with Kate, and he's like, Tuesday, 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 Wednesday, Wednesday, Wednesday. It's like you can't sleep because you're like, I have these great ideas, I have this passion, and I just can't wait, and that's how it is when you really
Yeah,
discover what you're
and I
passionate
didn't come
about.
up with this, and I'm mad that I cannot remember where I heard it. And if it comes to me, I'll attribute it properly. But you know, chasing your passion is important,
Hmm.
but chase your talent too, because you could be passionate about something and not be any good at it. And one of the and one of the biggest pieces of advice that my mother always gave me when she'd see me chasing my passion, she'd be like, okay, look, you need to develop some sort of skill set within that passion, within the realm of that passion, that when people ask about whatever that is, if they ask about hypothetically, who's the best public speaker in the area, if your name comes up in one of those top three, if your name comes up top three, you'll be able to make a living doing that. But if your name don't come
That's
up top
right.
three,
I
then you
love
need to
that.
get your weight up or figure out some other angle. You know what I mean? So people out there listening, I mean, chase your passion for sure, but chase your talent base within that passion, because if somebody loves music but say can't, I don't know, sing or play, you can chase your passion all day long. You're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to thrive, and survive.
Right. So you saying people need to be like Usher, honey, need to be able to dance and sing and do all.
Or whatever it is. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people like a lot of people that I knew as executives when I was a record exec, most of the time we were people who came in with artistic, you see
Right.
instruments behind me, I play a little something, write a little something. And I mean, I'd say that I didn't, succeed in doing some of those things on some levels, but where I really caught fire was as an executive, where I really, just, without even, I don't say without even trying, but just where I naturally just was
Yes.
most proficient was as a conduit of getting people to understand the music that the labels were putting out, convincing them to play records and videos, convincing artists to do certain things that help them. That's where it really shone brightest in my experience and my set of circumstances. So,
Yeah.
if I just chased the artistic side wholesale and nothing else, I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of things that I ended up doing in life. But because where the opportunities and the talent kind of combined the most were on the executive side, I was able to do that for a while. And then, like I said, that still to this day has me in connection with certain people, certain companies, certain labels. So now I can help people who are aspiring, get there as well. And even when it comes down to fitness, it was the same kind of thing. It was word of mouth that propelled me in the fitness industry and the wellness industry and coaching and doing these interviews and things of that nature. It was word of mouth that got me there, and
And it
that,
all goes together, you know.
yeah, yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it does because I mean, if your fitness is not right, and I do see that a lot, we're working with mental health. Like I tell people, it's mental, physically, and spiritually. And if your physical is not up to par, then mentally you're not going to be good. If your mental is not good, your physical is not going to be good. And so many people are dealing with depression, anxiety, and so many things because they're losing their control or it's just too much going on, and they don't know
It
how to
is.
see their way out of the tunnel.
Yeah, you're totally correct. And I try to speak to those things as well, because wellness is three-pronged for me. It's about information and education. It's about actually action steps, what those action steps are. Planning, strategizing, or even just plain old exercise. And it's also about nutrition, what you're feeding yourself, how you're fueling yourself. Superfoods, super facts, and super moves is what I call them. Those are my three pillars. And anybody that's listening or watching, find me on social media. Go to Instagram or anything at
Yes.
KUTIMACK at Kuti Mack. Find me and follow me. And I've got a bunch of just free game that I give out, especially on IG. I just a bunch of free game that I give out all the time. And this stuff is designed to help you in any one of those three aspects. And then if you feel like, you need some extra help, feel free to DM me. Just tell me that you saw me here or heard me here on this show. I'll give you a free consultation. Cause like I said, I do get paid to do this, but as a favor for listening to this show, supporting this show, and this show supporting me, I will gladly give a free consultation where we can just talk out whatever your main issue is and see how we can
Love
help you.
it.
And I promise you'll be better after the call than you were before.
Yes, and give us that again. How can our listeners follow up with you? And also tell us what does that look like if they sign up to actually do a consultation and work with you?
Okay, so you go to at Kuti Mack, so at KUTIMACK. If you're talking about booking me as a speaker, that would be on LinkedIn. If you're trying to just get some information, that would be on Instagram. My brand is Be Your Best Daily, BYBD. So if you go to bybdfitness.com or BYBD Fitness on Facebook, you'll get some more information there as well. Feel free to message me on any of those platforms. And like I said, if you saw me here, with Britt Tendy, then to ask for your free consultation. A consultation is very simple. We'll zoom it out. We'll just talk face to face so we can see each other. You tell me what it is that is your biggest concern, your biggest challenge, and I'll help you walk through it. And I'll give you something, because the fortunate thing for me is I'm a nerd about taking notes on every single client, situation, and case that I've ever
Yeah,
been through,
me too.
plus my own self. Yeah, plus my own self-reflection. And I've been doing this for decades. So I have just a wealth of knowledge, and I'm not stingy with it at all. And so I've seen a lot, I've been through a lot, and it would all be a waste if what I learned from it and helping other people through a bunch of it wasn't of help to you. So we'll just talk it out. And then from there, if it's something where you're like, oh man, okay, I think I really need to keep this going, we can talk about that. Or you can just say, hey, thank you, I'll keep following you on social media. And that's cool too, because you're still going to be better than you were before you went in. I promise.
And you know what I learned as a business owner is that it takes people seeing us over and over before they actually, sign up. So if they want to keep watching, that's good, because sure enough, they're sharing the knowledge, whether they like it or not. They're sharing the knowledge, they're telling somebody, and they're inspired. And when they're ready, they will sign up.
For sure. And I mean, and for me, like I said earlier, it's not a money grab.
That's
I,
right.
I will be forthright. Like I said before, this is how I eat. So yes, I want to get paid at some point, but when I chase the help, it always comes back around. So my
That's
thing is,
right.
I'll help first, and then we'll figure it all out later. It may not be you, maybe somebody next to you, whoever, but I'm not even worried
Never
about that
know.
right now. Just let's get you help. Let's
That's
get you
right.
unstuck.
Saving lives. Yes. Well, tell us, what is a word of empowerment as we come to close? What is a word of empowerment that you would love to leave for our listeners today, whether they are on the edge of, just trying to figure out life or put themselves first? Because ultimately, I feel like from that mom perspective, that's what it comes down to. We negate our health because we're so busy putting everyone else first. And we really need to start prioritizing ourselves. And so, from your expertise of balancing so many different things, what are words of empowerment or encouragement you would give to our listeners today?
Thank you for asking, Britt. So here's the deal. My brand is called BYBD. Be Your Best Daily. Be Your Best Daily. Just four words, those four letters. So the word be present. Okay, be aware. Don't let life happen to you happen to life. Be your best, not my best. Don't try to compare yourself to what I'm doing or what Brittany's doing or what anybody else is doing. What are you
Right.
compared to what you were just an hour ago? What are you compared to what you were yesterday? Right? Be your
That's
best,
right.
and on a daily incremental basis. Because look, yesterday's already done. Whatever it was, good, bad, and different, it could have been the best day ever. It's over.
That's right.
It's
It's
gone.
gone.
Right? Tomorrow, I pray that we all get there. Can I promise you that we'll all get there? No.
That's right.
So all you have right now is today. But
No.
check this out. Check this out. If you're your best today, right? Let's say you have the best day ever today. You go to sleep, you wake up tomorrow, you have the best day you ever had tomorrow. You go to sleep, you wake up the next day, you have the best day you ever had. And you have at least 4 to 5 of those, if not 7 of those in a week. But let's nothing's perfect. Let's just say you have 5 of those in a week.
Mhm.
You've had probably one of the best weeks ever.
Right.
You do that 4 times, you've had one of the best months ever. You do that 12 times, you've had one of the best years ever.
That's
You
right.
do that 10 times, you've had one of the best decades.
Yes.
You do that beyond that, and you're talking about lifetime. Now, let's say, oh, you stumble, right? The day
Yes.
starts whenever you started. Think about this. Technically, days start at 12 midnight, correct?
That's
Right?
right.
Like the day starts at 12 midnight. What are you doing typically at 12 midnight? If you don't mind sharing.
Sleep. Sleep.
Okay, so you sleep. So you wake up at what time?
Between 5 and 6 a.m.
Okay, so between 5 and 6 a.m., your day starts, right?
Right.
Technically, the day started at midnight, but between 5 6 a.m., you decided arbitrarily this is going to be when my day starts. So if you're
That's
having a
right.
bad day right now, this is what I want you to hear and see me do. Stop and start your day over, like in a
Because
minute.
you can do it. That's right.
If it's 12:30 right now, boom, at 12:31, we starting the day over. So you
Boom.
can still have your best day. You still have an opportunity to have your best day, and then working on stacking those up so you get your best week,
That's right.
best month, best year, best decade. You trip up at any point in time, dust it off,
Start over.
start over, start
I
over.
love it. I love
All
it.
right. So it's absolutely possible to be your best daily. And just worry about today. Because if you take care of today, today becomes yesterday's tomorrow. Today becomes tomorrow's yesterday. So if you
That's
take care of
right.
yourself today, every
Yeah.
day, you will be your best daily. And all you have to do is be just a smidgen better than you were yesterday.
And you're
Just
good.
a smidgen better. You don't have to reinvent the whole wheel tomorrow. Just all right, look, if weight loss is your goal, if you lost a third of a pound tomorrow, and then lost a third of a pound the next day, then lost a third of a pound the next day, by the end of the week, you would have lost 2 pounds.
That's right. That's
And that's a
right.
lot. But you'd be like, I just lost a third of a pound. Do that 7 days in a row. Guess what? You lost two
Boom.
pounds. Do
That's
that,
right.
do that 4 times in a row, you've lost 8 pounds in a month. Do that 12 times in a row, you've lost almost 60 pounds in a year. Be
It's all
your
about the
best
mindset.
daily.
That's
Be
right.
your best daily. And like I said, I've got this for days. Hit me up. I will help you. I promise you. Just message me.
Oh, thank you. You are amazing. Well, we're excited to have you on our show today. We will definitely have you back. We're going to be doing
Please
some new
do.
episodes on relationships and tying it to your business. So, relationships with
Yeah,
food,
I got you on that
relationships
one.
with your life.
I
Yes,
got
I
you on
love
that one. Let's talk. Let's talk.
that. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing. We're gonna let people call in, have questions, everything, because
Yes. Let's,
that's one of the things that people are dealing with. All types of relationships with themselves, with their own personal, intimate relationship, family relationships with their children, everything, money, food. And
yeah.
so, yes, we'll love to have you back on. So again,
I'd
thank
love to
you
be back.
for
Thank you.
being here. And that's the best word that you can ever give, is to be present. And that reminds me, don't allow people to dictate how your day should go. You have control over your day. And if someone says something, like you said, start it over, you can say, that's the past. I'm taking it out for me and I'm moving forward, and
Oh,
stay
I've got
present.
methodologies for all of that. Like I said, hit me up. I've got methodologies on how to handle all of that stuff.
Okay. Well, thank you again for being a special guest, and we will definitely have you back.
Thank you.
Bye.